back. It's 2:45 a.m. I don't know why I keep saving the reading for late nights. I don't know why. I clocked out of work. I guess it's the energy drinks. It's the energy drinks. I drank like 2 energy drinks that kept me awake until now. And yes. Oh yeah, and yeah, the running was tough, but it was crazy. But I did not run Sunday. I woke up at like 3:30, then went straight to work. That was my day. I didn't really do anything. But yeah, let's continue the reading from yesterday. Yesterday was actually a good reading. I enjoyed it. Terry, I'm pretty sure you can do it. You can run to the corner. Easy. Light work. Just gotta pace yourself and take your sweet time. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So you can do it. Light work. Anyway, enough of my yapping. Let's go. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. 3 a.m. No. I'll give myself a nice 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes read. Because I've got to wake up early. Where did I leave off yesterday? Response to the chariot thrown. A large white enameled canister crashed to the floor just beyond the kitchen doorway, and Travis jumped back in surprise, squeezing off a wild shot before he realized he was only being taunted. The lid flew off the container when it hit the floor, and flour spilled across the tile. Silence again. By responding to Travis's taunt with one of its own, the intruder had displayed the unnerving intelligence. Abruptly, Travis realized that coming from the same research lab as Einstein and being a product of related experiments, the creature might be as smart as the retriever, which would explain Einstein's fear of it. If Travis had not already accommodated himself to the idea of a dog with human-like intelligence, he might have been unable to credit this beast with more than mere animal cleverness. However, events of the past few months had primed him to accept and quickly adapt to almost anything. Silence. Only one round left in the gun. Deep silence. He had been so startled by the flour canister that he had not noticed from which side of the doorway it had been flung. And it had fallen in such a fashion that he could not deduce the position of the creature that had hurled it. He still did not know if the intruder was to the left or right of the doorway. He was not sure. He was not sure he any longer cared where it was. Even with the .357 in hand, he did not think it would be wise to enter the kitchen. Not if the damn thing was as smart as a man. It would be like doing battle with an intelligent buzzsaw, for Christ's sake. The light in the east-facing kitchen was dwindling, almost gone. In the dining room, where Travis and Einstein stood, the darkness was deepening, even behind him. In spite of the open front door and window and the corner lamp, the living room was filled with shadows. In the kitchen, the intruder hissed loudly, a sound like escaping gas. which was immediately followed by a click, click, click that might have been made by its sharply clawed feet or hands tapping against a hard surface. Travis had caught Einstein's tremors. He felt as if he were a flying on the edge. If he felt as if he were a fly on the edge of a spider's web, about to step into a trap. He remembered Ted Hockney's bitten, bloodied, eyeless face. Click, click. It's anti-terrorist training. He had been taught how to stalk man, and he had been good at it. But the problem here was that the yellow-eyed intruder was maybe as smart as a man, but could not be counted on to think like a man. So Travis had no way of knowing what he might do next, how he might respond to any initiative he made. Therefore, he could never outthink it, and by its alien nature, the creature had a perpetual and deadly advantage of surprise. Click. Travis quietly took a step back from the open kitchen door, then another step, treading with exaggerated care, not wanting the thing to discover that he was retreating, because only God knew what he might do if it knew he was slipping out of its reach. Einstein padded silently into the living room, now equally eager to put distance between himself and the intruder. When he reached Ted Hockney's corpse, Travis glanced away from the dining room, searching for the least littered route to the front door. He saw Nora standing by the armchair, frightened by the gunfire. She had gotten a butcher's knife from the kitchenette in the airstream and had come to see if he needed help. What was my prediction? Nora is going to die. Bro, just stay outside, dude. Oh my gosh. She's about to get demolished. He was impressed by her courage, but horrified to see her there in the glow of the corner lamp. Suddenly, it seemed as if his nightmares of losing both Einstein and Nora were on the verge of coming true. The Cornell curse again. Because now, they were both inside the house, both vulnerable, both possibly within striking distance of the thing in the kitchen. She started to speak. Travis shook his head and raised one hand to his mouth. Silence. She bit her lip and glanced from him to the dead man on the floor. As Travis quietly stepped through the rubble, he was stricken by a feeling that the intruder had gone out the back of the house and was coming around the side, heading for the front door, risking being seen by neighbors in the gloom of twilight, intending to enter behind him, swift and fast. Nora was standing between Travis and the front door, so he would not have a clear shot at the creature if it came that way. Hell, it would be all over Nora 1 second after it reached the door. Try not to panic. Try not to think of Hockney's Alice's face. Travis moved more quickly across the living room, risking the crackle of some debris underfoot, hoping those small noises would not carry to the kitchen if the intruder was still out there. Reaching Nora, he took her by the arm and propelled her toward the front door, out onto the stoop and down the stairs, looking left and right, half expecting to see the living nightmare rushing at them, but it was nowhere in sight. The gunshots and Nora's shouting had drawn neighbors as far as their front doors all along the street. A few had even come outside onto porches and lawns. Somebody surely would have called the cops because of Einstein's status as much wanted fugitive. The police seemed almost as grave a danger as the yellow-eyed thing in the house. The three of them piled into the pickup. Nora locked her door and Travis locked his. He started the engine and backed the truck and the airstream out of the driveway into the street. He was aware of people staring. The twilight was going to be short-lived, as it always was near the ocean. Already, the sunless sky was blackish in the east. People in the east, purple overhead, and a steadily darkening blood red in the west. Okay, so they were able to escape it, so that's a positive. That's good. Travis was grateful for the oncoming cover of nightfall, although he knew the yellow-eyed creature would be sharing it with them. He drove past the gaping neighbors, none of whom he had ever met during his years of self-imposed solitude, and he turned at the first corner. Nora held Einstein tightly, and Travis drove as fast as he dared. The trailer rocked and swayed behind him when he took the next couple of corners at too great a speed. What happened in there? She asked. It killed Hockney earlier today or yesterday. It? And it was waiting for us to come home. It? She repeated. Einstein mewed. Travis said, I'll have to explain later. I'll have to explain later. He wondered if he could explain. No description he gave of the intruder would do it justice. He did not possess the words necessary to convey the degree of its strangeness. They had gone over the 8 blocks when they heard sirens in the neighborhood that they had just left. Travis drove another 4 blocks and parked in the empty lot of a high school. What now? Nora asked. We abandoned the trailer and the truck, he said. They'll be looking for both. He put the revolver in her purse, and she insisted on slipping the butcher's knife in there too, rather than leave it behind. They got out of the pickup and, in the descending night, walked past the side of the school, across an athletic field, through a gate in a chain-link fence, and onto a residential street lined with mature trees. With nightfall, the breeze became a blustery wind, warm and parched. It blew a few dry leaves at them and harried dust ghosts along the pavement. Travis knew they were too conspicuous even without the trailer and truck. The neighbors would be telling the police to look for a man, woman, and golden retriever, and not the most common trio. They would be wanted for questioning. They would be wanted for questioning in the death of Ted Hockney. So the search for them would not be perfunctory. They had to get out of sight quickly. He had no friends with whom they could take refuge. After Paula died, he had withdrawn from his few friends, and he hadn't maintained relationships with any of the real estate agents who had once worked for him. Nora had no friends. Nora had no friends either, thanks to Violet Devon. The houses they passed, most with warm lights in the windows, seemed to mock them with unattainable sanctuary. Alright, I'm gonna leave it right there so I can go to sleep. So a quick recap for what I read. Okay, so how do I even start it? So continuing the reading from yesterday, the outsider and Travis were still going toe to toe. Until the outsider had ran away into a random corner, which confused Travis a little bit, but Travis was not surprised with the tricks that the outsider was playing because he was already used to Einstein. He was already used to Einstein tricks with how smart it was and everything. So nothing that the outsider did surprised Travis. So anyway, since the outsider had disappeared, which made Travis and Einstein leave with Nora because Nora came inside, which kind of put all of them in jeopardy and started warning Travis because he thought he was gonna lose both Nora and Travis. I mean Nora and Einstein. So with that fear, he and the two decided it was best to leave their place, their home, and run away because it was not safe to be there, and the cops were on their way anyway. And if they would have come when the three were still at the home, they would be getting questioned like heavy. So it was best for the three of them to run away and find a safe spot to live, or somebody they could live with. But the problem is none of them have close buddies or have maintained a close relationship with people. They're not really like close with people. They're both Travis and Nora are to themselves. They're both isolated. Before they met each other. They were both isolated and both to themselves. So with them running away, they had nowhere to go, but they're probably gonna go and stay with Nora's lawyer, Garrison. So that's my prediction. I kind of read it a little bit. I had a little bit, but yeah, that's my prediction.